Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome again to another painting video. Today I'll be doing a landscape. So, this is what I do. I always shift from one subject to another. Maybe one day still life, one day landscape, one day flowers, one day seascape, or maybe a waterscape. I do different things as much as possible so that I don't get stuck with one subject. So I chose a very monochromatic subject today, but I really love the vibe of this type of view. And I'll be painting some pine trees with some fog. I've done a similar painting. I've done a painting similar to this one, but that was like 3 years ago when I was about to leave Korea, and it was just one of the saddest days of my life. So it was not really a tutorial, but more like just a painting process, just showing you how it's done. So today I'll be painting and I'll be teaching you how to do a similar one. And I'm just so excited because I love landscapes and I love monochromatic style landscapes, because the less color I use, the more natural it looks. So here are the colors that we'll be using today. The colors are actually listed in the description box below. I don't want to show my palette anymore because some people are telling me that my palette is so gross, but it's just acrylic. Those are dried paints. I really don't mind seeing them. In fact, I like seeing them. So anyway, for those who don't mind looking at my dirty palette, I call it dirty even if it's not really dirty. It's all dried acrylics. I'm so sorry. So we have here olive green, burnt sienna, titanium white, lemon yellow, and black. So let me start first my canvas board by underpainting it or backgrounding it. So I'll be using a gray color. Alright, so I'll be using a fairly wide brush. By the way, I'm using a 10 by 14 inches canvas board. If you want to really have the same size as mine, you can get a canvas board or a canvas stretch canvas that is of the same size. So I'm gonna get my titanium white, add a little bit of what they call this gray, okay? Just not too much, maybe this gray, yeah, as you can see here. And I'm just gonna start underpainting my canvas board. I told you during the intro that I won't be showing my palette, but I still showed it anyway. For me, these things don't really matter. I mean, if my palette is dirty, this is a painting tutorial. This is not how you should live your life. So if your palette is clean, good for you. But me, I really don't like to be super clean when it comes to my painting materials, because I'm gonna dirty them anyway. So what's the point of cleaning them every single time? I'm not that OC. Anyway, just cover your canvas, your surface with the gray color, the same color that I'm using. This is just to give the vibe, or just to set the vibe of the painting. We're painting a foggy forest, okay? So in order to be foggy, we should do some gray color. Some areas will be more grayer than the others. Okay, maybe I'm gonna add a little more, add more grayness. So I'm just adding a little bit of black here and there. This is just the background. We'll be painting over it later with some pine trees. For now, let's just set the mood. Okay, since my acrylics dry pretty quick, and since the weather in, where I'm at, it's quite hot, so my acrylics dry even faster. It's much easier for me to paint over it or to sketch the main subject since it's pretty dry now. But if your acrylics dry slower than mine, you can use a hair dryer if you're painting along with me so that we can catch up. Alright, so I'm gonna wash my brush out and I'm gonna show you where things are gonna go. So we'll be doing some pine trees, and for the sketch of the pine trees I will be just using black first, alright, before we start with the green color. The black will provide the undertone and the depth of the trees. So I'll be changing my brush. Okay, this will not be the brush that I'll be using, the one that I use for the background. So I'll be using a different brush. You can use a fan brush. I think I'll be using my fan brush now. So I'll be using my fan brush. I don't want to wet it because it will affect the texture, or no, not the texture, the shape of the subject that I'll be doing if it's wet and if it's dry. So I'll be using the dry version of this fan brush. So I'll be getting my black, dabbing into my Mars black, and start sketching the subject. So the subjects will be, the subject are pine trees. So I'm just gonna go start creating some pine trees. So if you can hear again some street noise, well, I'm so sorry about that. So basically these are just markings and not making sense at the moment. Just dab into your black. Okay. Also down here. It sounds like I have colds, but no, not really. Okay. Later, this will make sense. I know that for now, it looks like, what is Chet doing? It doesn't make sense. Okay, so just apply black here and there. I don't have any particular pattern for this because these are all distant trees. So when it comes to perspective, we don't really see the details of the trees from afar. We only see the shapes and the main colors of the trees. We don't really get to see the exact colors of each leaf, okay? Because that's not how perspective works. When it comes to distant objects, we only get to see the shapes unless you have supervision, but I mean super, maybe over 20/20 vision. So we only get to see the main shape, okay, the overview of our subject. So now I'm gonna get my olive green and mix it with my black. I'm gonna start to create some greeny color. Although this seems to be a little more dark, we're gonna start doing the green color because we're gonna build up from here. So I'm gonna use my greeny color again just to fill in some spaces, okay? Again, we're doing pine trees here, so make sure that your trees are still looking triangular. Okay, I'm gonna dab onto my olive green. So I'm gonna make the top more greenish than the bottom. So this time I'm just using olive green, but I'm not washing my brush so that the black color is still there. Okay. We don't want to get rid of the black just yet. And then I'm gonna spread some of that olive green down here and also right here. We need more depth because I feel like it's still lacking depth. We're gonna do that later. For now, let's just do this one step at a time. Okay, I'm gonna get my black. I need more black. So using black, I'm just gonna add more depth, especially the corners. We want to darken the corners so that we also frame the painting. I mean, visually framing it. We're not really framing it, but visually framing it. By visually framing it, we make the viewer, no, not the viewer, we make the person, the audience, look at the painting or the center, at the center of the painting. Why can't I speak today? So anyway, just darken the corners and the sides, okay, just like this. Okay, now we move on to this side. As you can see, these are just markings. Okay, and also right here, we will be lightening this area later. For now, let's just create some shapes because this will be the foggiest area. All trees that are right here on the right side, on the left side, will be glazed over to appear more foggy. But for now, let's just do the trees. Let's place them there first before removing them from the scene, if that makes sense. So again, I'm trying to make it look like pine trees by sticking to the triangular shape you just don't want to create blobs of paint. We also want to make some sense out of the blobs of paint that we're doing. All right, okay. Okay, also right here, we're gonna continue so that we know that there are trees. Just darken this first. All right. Wow, it really looks like I'm just doing abstract, which is good. Okay, now I'm gonna get my olive green. I'm gonna mix that with yellow. You can add a little bit of burnt sienna. Let's start again. Just lightening some areas. So I'll be using more yellow, okay? Oops, that's too yellow. I kind of don't like that yellow, too yellow. And apply it quite randomly. Maybe lighter yellows right here. And also right here. Okay, I'm gonna change my brush. All right, I'm gonna change my brush now. And I'll be using a really old brush of mine. Okay, this one. It's quite old and stiff. So this will help me create more details. I'm gonna get my yellow and mix it with a little bit of white. This is to give it highlight, but I'll be adding brown because we don't want it to be super yellow. We don't want that kind of yellow that we see on cartoons, you know, that too bright. I'll be using this color to highlight some portions right here. As you can see, I'm just dotting it randomly applying it, but with intention to create some highlighted portions. All right, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna get my olive green and mix it with black. Let's go back. Okay, and I'm gonna get my black. Okay, just pure black without, however, washing your brush, you know, just pure black. Let's make some more negative spaces that we probably painted over because of the highlights. More negative spaces. Does it make sense, right? I actually like the fact that it's not making sense at the moment. Right. I'm just using black. Okay, let me check how it's going. All right, okay, looking so abstract. So my acrylics dry pretty quick, which I like. I'm gonna start glazing over some areas so that you get an idea of what I meant when I said we'll be glazing over some areas. So I'm gonna get my white, right, again, my dirty palette. And I'm gonna add my black, or maybe this color. I'm gonna add more black to make it more grayish, like this. But, okay, I'll be using extra water. All right, okay. So I'll be dabbing it, or I'll be getting more water, and I'm gonna start glazing it. Over the trees right here. And apply it as well in the sky so that we're pretty consistent, you know, with, okay, I'm really using my hands. So if you're not a fan of finger painting, well, I'm so sorry about that, because I am a fan of finger painting. Okay, for now, I'm gonna allow it like that. I'm gonna get a dry brush. Okay, and I'm just gonna like remove the excess like that. So did you see the effect? Okay, I'll be using the same gray color, watering it down And I'll be applying that color right here on the left side. We can apply it as well in the sky. And I'll be using first my fingers because it helps give that vibe, okay, before I use the dry brush. So I'm just gonna apply it like this, and it continues all the way down. Easy, right? Easy. I'm gonna use now my dry brush and start. Okay, I'll be adding water just to remove too much grayness. We still want the background to be present. We don't want to paint over the background. We just want to make it appear foggy than the others. And definitely we will be correcting some areas later. We will be making some more adjustments. Okay. Make the fog like run right here. Okay, I'm getting my white just to balance the sky. Let me check. Good. All right. And I'll be applying more white. And kind of rotate your brush as well. I'm gonna darken this area a bit. Just a bit. Because again, we're trying to frame it. Okay. So it's very foggy now. And some areas. Okay, and okay, look at how I'm doing this. Very, very random. Okay. Add water just to add more fogginess. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to using my usual brush. Okay. We're gonna go back. Okay, so get your fan brush, the one that we just used earlier, and remove the excess paint, the excess water, because we want it to be relatively dry. So dab on again to your black. I'm adding a little bit of brown to my black. And let's go back. We're going to make some, what do you call this? Leaves and parts of trees that are more visible than the others. So again, try to make it more triangular. Adding more depth right here. Okay. Maybe I'm gonna mix my black with my olive green. A little bit of yellow. Okay. Just dark variation of that olive green so that our trees become more full and more dimensional. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of darker colors on the distant trees, just tiny bit. You don't want to overdo that because we just want a hint of their presence. We don't want too much, like too much of their presence. Again, let me check. How's go? Oh, nice. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, I think I'll be using, I'll be using my pointy brush so that I can get some details, smaller details done, all right? So I'll be getting my pointy brush, I'm getting my black, and I'm gonna start doing some details. Making the trees look more tree-like. It's like adding tiny branches. You don't want to miss that part, because even if they're so small, the painting will be different without them. No, small detailing, but some people may do away with those, but I don't want to do away with those as much as possible. I want them to be there. Like those tiny little vines and branches. You don't want to miss them because that what makes what makes what makes nature natural. Okay. I can't speak today. Why? I can't speak properly. Okay. So I'm trying to make some pine tree like branches, but I'm not really painting over, especially the glaze, the fog that we just had. Again, for the distant trees, you don't want to do the same, type of drawing because they're already in the distance and foggy, so you don't want to do too much details. Okay, now I'm gonna get some yellow plus white. Okay. And just a tiny amount of this color. Maybe I'm gonna add a little bit of burnt sienna. Oh my god, I can't talk. Burnt sienna. And then I'm just gonna use this color. Gosh, forgive me guys. I'm just gonna use this color on certain areas down here. This is just to add more natural colors on the leaves because leaves, especially the forest leaves, they have browny colors all over them. They cannot be just perfectly green. If you see a forest with perfectly green colors, probably you're dreaming or something. It's not true. It's not real. So I'm gonna use as well this same color. I'm gonna slightly glaze over some areas. Slightly, alright? You don't want to do too much of that color. Just tap. Okay. And then I'm gonna get olive green so that we get another variation of this color on certain areas. Right here where it is not really reached by the light, by the sunlight, but it's still lighter compared to some other dark areas or hidden areas of this forest. Switch to some black. Are we filming? All right, good. So basically we're just making markings, right? But we're trying to create sense out of those markings. We're not really just doing abstract. Right, again, I'm just gonna darken a bit this corner so that we frame it even more. All right, now let's go back to glazing over. So I'm gonna use the same gray color that we used for the glazing. Remember when we did the fog? So I'm gonna use the same color. I'm gonna remove the excess water, and I'm gonna, again, just go back to certain areas that you want to appear more foggy than the other areas. Okay, just like that. I want to make some, like a little run of fog right there. And I'm gonna move my brush in a circular way so that, you know, I soften the brush strokes. Okay, good. I'm gonna lighten this area a bit so that we give it some sort of hope for light. Even if it's foggy, there's light right here on the right side. Okay, good. Are you enjoying it? I mean, I am enjoying it. Okay, now for the fog, I'm gonna add a tiny bit of brown, okay, or burnt sienna on my gray, just a tiny bit, not too much, like this. And I'm gonna use that in the same manner that, you know, we're doing this foggy thing, just to add more interest to this painting. We don't want it to be just gray and all that. We want to add a little bit of fog that are more natural in color. So you see, I really like the effect of browns going down right here and across this area. Let me check again. Absolutely nice. Love it. Okay. I'm using just olive green again. Randomly applying olive greens here and there. I'm adding a little bit of depth right here. Good. Wow, I love it. Just to frame it even better. All right. Oops, I didn't know that I had black paint on my hand. I absolutely love this. Oh my gosh. All right, so I think I have to sign this now. It's all good. So I'm gonna sign this now, and I'll be using my white. So I'll be using the white, and I'm gonna sign right here. Very tiny signature. Okay, so we're done. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's quite simple, right? Actually, it's not simple. It's more of technical as well. Technical is highly technical. I don't know if I'm using the correct word. I think I've applied a lot of techniques using my hands, using my brush. But if you find it simple, well and good. Now you know. I mean, now you know that you're at least doing the we're doing the same thing. I was supposed to say the right thing, but right in terms of art is relative. It means anyone can be doing their own right thing, but to others it's the wrong thing, but it's art, so we're all free here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you had a great Sunday, because I just had a great morning. I did deadlifts today. Anyway, I just want to tell you that I did deadlifts, and I did 92.5 kilos. I'm so proud of me, and I still can't get over it. I'm still high. All right, so see you in my next video. Bye guys. Love you.